Welcome back to the Neshoba Valley Chamber Business Buzz. My name is Melissa Fetterhoff. I'm the president and CEO of the Neshoba Valley Chamber. And today I am super excited to be here with Paul Swydan from the Silver Unicorn Bookstore, an independent bookstore in Acton. Welcome.
Thank you.
So tell us about the history story of Silver Unicorn.
So back in 2017, I was 14, 15 years into a career in baseball. First working for the Colorado Rockies and then as a writer for various outlets, including at some points the Globe and Boston.com. And I was feeling a little burnt out from baseball. 15 years is a long time to do something. Even if it's something you love. Had some very candid conversations with my bosses that at that time about what I was being paid and would I be getting paid more in the near future, realized I wasn't going to be, and started looking for an off-ramp. A couple months prior to those discussions, the bookstore we had in town, Willow Books, closed. And everybody was very upset. So it got me thinking. And then lo and behold, like a sign from heaven, I don't even usually read the New York Times, so I must have been on vacation or something where I saw a copy of the New York Times, and there was a story in it with about 5 authors who are bookstore owners. And one of them was Emma Straub, who's best-selling novelist. Her new book, American Fantasy, was an instant New York Times bestseller, all that. And she owns Books Are Magic in Brooklyn. And in retrospect, it's easy for her to say because, 4 million people live in Brooklyn. But she said something to the effect of, I've always felt that if your town can support a farmer's market, your town can support a bookstore. And I was like, well, we have a farmer's market. From there, one thing led to another. One of the other people featured in the article was Jeff Kinney, who owns An Unlikely Story, author of Diary of a Wimpy Kid. And so I was like, well, that's pretty close to me. And so I emailed the general manager. Obviously Jeff's email is not listed on the store's website, but the general manager her name was Deb. And I said, I understand like what books are good and what books aren't good. Like I'm enough of a reader to know which are the good books. But I was like, but how do you buy them? Like how would you go about that? And then like a bunch of other very detailed questions. And she kind of patted me on the head, said, bless your heart. But what she did say, what she did refer me to was this bookstore boot camp for owners that you could do. And it was going to be a month later. And so I signed up. One of my friends was very gracious to give me mileage points so I didn't have to pay for my flight. And he rearranged his business travel so that a couple of the nights I could be in a room with him and I wouldn't have to pay for my hotel either because his work was paying for it. And it did this week-long bookstore boot camp. And once I signed up, I was like, all right, well, if I'm really going to do this, I should write a business plan. And then again, like a sign, the location where we're at went vacant just as I was starting to write my business plan. And as I'm sure you're well aware, location is like 90 to 95% of what makes a small business succeed. And I was like, well, this is the perfect location, is in a walkable neighborhood and had a parking lot and was a decent size to a good size. And so I wrote my business plan with the location already picked, which is rare.
Yeah.
Usually you do everything else and then you hope you find a good location and then you hope it works. And it's a big part of why I think a lot of small businesses don't succeed initially is because it's hard to have the location first. I was very fortunate in the sense that I had the location first. And so I wrote the whole business plan. I went and did this boot camp. And like, while we were there, they offered to look at your business plan as part of it, assuming that nobody's actually written one.
Yeah. And you're like, here I
was like, here you go. What do you think? So after they got over the initial shock of being called on their bluff, they affirmed that, yeah, you thought of just about everything in this business plan. And when I came home, I started taking it to banks, and um, the banks were all very impressed with the fact that I had taken a course. Looking back, the stuff I learned in the course wasn't necessarily what I needed to learn to be a successful bookstore owner, but having the certificate that said I did professional training for this showed the banks that, and along with my business plan and all that, showed that I was a worthy investment. So one of the 5 banks we went to gave us money, and that's it. We went from idea to open in under 10 months, which is, as I've come to learn, slightly abnormal.
Yeah, and I bet it went by like,
Oh yeah, because I was, at the same time, I was still doing my regular job.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until, so this was all, the course was in early August of 2017, but it wasn't until January that I went and talked to my boss and was like, I'm leaving.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were open a couple months later.
Wow.
So yeah, it was a lot, all at once.
So it's not that it's something that though that you had in the back of your mind growing up, like I'm gonna open a bookstore one day or
Nope.
crazy.
Nope.
That's amazing.
You know, I've always loved reading.
Yeah.
And you know, aside from like a brief period from like 12 to 16, and then again in college when you're doing college reading,
Right.
I didn't read much in those years.
Yeah.
Well, which is very typical for boys. It's very hard to keep boys engaged in reading as they start high school and as they start college. Aside from that, I've always been a reader. Like,
Mm.
we would go to bookstores. When I worked for the Rockies, downtown Denver had an incredible bookstore called the Tattered Cover that I would go, like, anytime my boss was like, you can take like an extra half hour for lunch, if she was in a good mood, I would go down to Tattered Cover, and just, poke around. So books have always been part of my life. But no, I never envisioned this. That I'm kind of the trophy husband in that way. My wife has the job that really makes us, keeps us in the house and
Mhm.
keeps our kids fed and all that. And I've kind of had like a series of like fun and exciting jobs. I worked in baseball, then I worked writing about baseball, and now I'm owning a bookstore. And it's like, yeah. So
Very cool.
yeah, like I'd be the character in 27 Dresses. So, like so, uh, but yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, how did you come up with the Silver Unicorn name?
So I felt at the time, again, this is fall of 2017, that unicorns were having a bit of a cultural moment. Ironically, it was partially because of Kristaps Porzingis, the basketball player who would come later to play for the Celtics. At the time, he was playing for the New York Knicks, and his nickname was the Unicorn. And so I was like, well, maybe unicorns are, the phrase, the term unicorn is not as gendered as it used to be. But the Unicorn Bookstore didn't sound right to me. Um, and backing up even before that, I I had gone and found, I think, 3 lists of like the top 100 bookstores in the country, and I had separated their names into buckets, and I came up with location based, like Main Street Books, pun based, like the Poisoned Pen,
Mm-hmm.
and other. I wanted to be other. It landed on unicorn, but the Unicorn Bookstore didn't sound right to me. It needed another word, and silver is my favorite color, so Silver Unicorn. I One of the few things I did patiently was, I was like, okay, I like this name. I'm gonna like register the domain name. I made a Facebook account, but I didn't tell anybody
Mm-hmm.
for like 2 months. I was like, I want to say this to myself every day and make sure I'm not sick of it in like 2 weeks. You know what I mean? Uh,
Smart.
and yeah, it was the one, it's the one patient part of the process. And after a couple months, I was not sick of it, and so I was like, all right, that's the name.
It's perfect. It
Yeah,
fits.
thank
I love it.
thank
I
you.
love it. So, what makes an independent bookstore different from buying books online?
The curation. So we stress 3 things: curation, convenience, and community. You can't get any of those online. You can, if you work hard enough, you can get the curation, right? Like you can dig in, like if you're just browsing Amazon, you can dig through their bestseller lists, or so they do edit like a small amount of editors picks each month. And obviously, like you can read the New York Times book review, like you could go to NPR, you could see what Reese's book club pick is, or you can just walk into our store and we've already done all of that work for you. And that's the part with the convenience. Like, yes, it is convenient to order something online, but either you're then paying Amazon a yearly fee to get it to you next day, or you're paying more to have it shipped to you next day, or you're just waiting 3 or 4 days. That's not especially convenient, especially if you're like, I'm going on vacation tomorrow, I need a book. The website can't help you with that. So that's the convenience part of the community. We try to be as involved and enmeshed in our community as possible. So we sponsor Little League. We sponsor hockey teams. So like our we've got a banner up, or it's actually a metal sign this year. They upped it
Oh,
on the
fancy.
on the outfield wall for Little League. We're on the dasher boards at the hockey rink. We sponsor school plays. We're a drop-off spot for the food pantry. All those types of things and more. Just to make people understand, like, we're not trying to juice you here. Like, we're you. We're part of you. We're here to be good stewards for the community. And so we feel like those are the 3 points of differentiation.
So, you also host a lot of events at
Mhm.
your store, like author events, book clubs, community programs. Tell us a little bit about that.
So again, we think author events are a big point of differentiation, not just from a website, but from other physical stores in general, right? A lot of our sister stores, whom we love dearly, don't do events, or don't do a lot of events, or maybe don't have the comfort level or proficiency in doing events. So I've always thought that is should be a real cornerstone of the store. Um, Partially that's selfish, because it's hard to earn media attention. Um, and doing events is one of the best ways to get media attention. For instance, here on my bag, I have this.
Love show and tell.
Yeah, I have this fun book. It was written by Celtics star and NBA champion Jayson Tatum,
Yeah.
whom we just hosted the other night at an event. It was in Newton. We partnered with another bookstore to do it. This is the second time we hosted Jayson, and as luck would have it, the Celtics made a gigantic trade last week, and Jayson hadn't commented on it yet. And the first time he was going to publicly comment on it was at our event.
That's bull.
So all of a sudden, there were 4 camera crews there, and stories with his quotes got aggregated all the way up to ESPN and became national news. You can't predict stuff like that, obviously, but if you do enough events, if you do enough good will happen to you. And so by doing the work of providing the venue and doing this event with Jayson, we saw that immediate return.
Nice.
So we feel like that's a real separator for us. Literally, he did 2 events. We were one of them. There's, I believe last count was something like 64 independent bookstores in the state. So we were able to do something that not a lot of other people were. Aside from author events, we do a lot of community events, and we want to be part of the community. We want to make sure that we're giving back. One of our biggest annual events is in a couple weeks on July 25th. Is called the ARC sale. So ARC stands for Advanced Reader Copy. So every year, or every day really, publishers send us advanced copies of books they want us to buy and stock in the store. And the best way to get us excited is for us to read it. But once those books come out, that's just kind of dead weight in the store. We're not allowed to sell them for a profit. We're not allowed, and we don't want to throw them away
Right.
because they're books. Like, they may have a few editing errors that get cleaned up after, as the editing process goes, because they send them 3, 4, 5, 6 months ahead of time, but they're full books. So what we do is we put them all out on a table outside the store, and you can get one for $2 or three for $5, and all the money gets donated to the Acton Food Pantry.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, and so every year we're able to raise a couple $1,000s for the Acton Food Pantry and get rid of all the stuff that's clogging our back room and our shed, and really do some good with it.
Nice.
Yeah.
How long does it take you to read a book?
Me personally, it depends. It depends on the genre. So I like, I like reading kids books, because like a book for like a 200-page novel for an 8 to 12-year-old, I can read that in a day, because the books for kids have to keep moving, right? There's not a lot of character development, or at least not in the same way you would get in an adult book, where you might get 100 pages in before you're like, what's the plot of this? So I those ones I can read in a day. Otherwise, I'm a fairly slow reader. I wish I was a faster reader, because it would help to have another, I usually read 50 to 60 books a year. But if I could read 100, that, I'd be just that much more knowledgeable about the books in our store. So yeah, I'm not the
But you have a
fastest.
team. You also have a team.
Yes, we have a team, and I'm very fortunate in that our reading interests as a team end up being pretty wide ranging. So the stuff that I'm into is not necessarily the stuff that my GM and my floor manager is into, and like that, there's definitely some overlap with people in the store. We've definitely got our like little brigades, but between, I think there's 19 of us this year. Between the 19 of us, everybody's got, their own tastes. I will say the one thing where we can improve on is nonfiction. We all need to read more nonfiction.
Okay.
But aside from that, yeah.
All right. I know you also have like a romance book club.
Yeah.
Do you have other book clubs?
We do. Our first and original book club, there were two. One is called Friday Fiction Book Club, and they meet the first Friday of every month here at the store at like, I think it's like 10:30 a.m. And they generally pick something new and interesting, or new in paperback and interesting. It's just whatever adult fiction, the group, it's very democratic. And then our middle grade book club, and our middle grade book club is led by local author Rebecca Caprara, who's amazing. And not only does a book discussion with the kids each month, which is again is aimed for ages 8 to 12, or we say like 7 to 13 for book club. They not only do book discussion, but she like gives them writing prompts. Like, a lot of the kids are like aspiring writers, and so she'll go through writing prompts with them, and or just try to help them with their writing. And so both of those book clubs have been with us our entire 8.5 years. Recently we had Romance Book Club, which started I think around this time last year, and we have Resistance Book Club, which started last fall, or maybe early this year, and it's led by another member of the community, who just wanted, was seeing the ice raids and all that kind of stuff, and just wanted to do something positive and productive for the community. And that's what we landed on, him and I, when we were talking it through. And so they read, current events books. The book they're reading this summer is On Freedom by Timothy Snyder, which is a great read. And then two of our teen assistant managers run a picture book club.
Okay.
And so they choose a topical picture book and come up with a craft to go with it. And they do that one Saturday morning a month.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. They have a lot of fun with it.
My niece, I love to read the teen books as well.
Yeah.
And because it's a quick read, and so I read it and then get handed to her, so we can talk about it. But
Yeah.
it's our own little mini book club. If somebody has never visited the Silver Unicorn, what can they expect?
First and foremost, they can expect to be greeted warmly. That is the one thing that we make sure we do, no matter what we're into, and we're always into something, is that you put it down and you say hello, and ask if the person entering needs anything specific or they're just browsing. So that's paramount, is that you're greeted. Beyond that, you're gonna find 1,400 to 1,500 square feet of well curated books, gifts, greeting cards, games, plush toys, all that kind of fun stuff. We have a gift vault in the back that has a lot of the fun gifting items. We have art supplies. I still remember when Quill and Press was in town, and sadly, I'm starting to be one of the only ones who does remember that. But we try to have a good range of art supplies, both for beginner and advanced kind of stuff. One of my favorite art supplies, actually, we stock from this company called Uli. They have, I forget if it's markers or crayons. I think it's markers, but they have skin tone markers.
Oh, cool.
And and so it's like, don't just draw one skin tone, draw all of them.
Yes.
Yeah, I really like those ones.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. I was going to mention that you have the gifts, so
Yeah.
it's a great place to just poke around and buy yourself or buy somebody else something.
That is the most fun and interesting things has been over the years, is learning what kind of gifts work and what don't. Our GM Megan, she does a fabulous job curating the gift selection. I did it when we first opened, and she was like, you don't know what you're talking about, because the majority of our customers are women. And she's like, I know what people are gonna want. I'm like, all right, you do it then.
Nice.
And I do the books. So,
Excellent.
yeah.
All right. So I have a few rapid fire questions for you.
All right, let's do it.
Fiction or nonfiction?
Fix it.
Hardcover or paperback?
Paperback.
Morning reader or bedtime reader?
I want to say both, but if I have to pick, I'll say morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I like my quiet mornings.
One book that everyone should read?
The one that comes to mind first is Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What's it about?
It is about the end of the world. It's about a pandemic and picking up the pieces and becoming a civilization again. And there's also a cool story within the story.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to have to check it out.
Yeah.
Cool. Coffee, tea, or hot chocolate while reading?
Neither. Water.
Okay.
Hey, yeah.
All right.
My staff gives me such a hard time. I don't drink hot liquids.
Okay.
Yeah.
My sister doesn't do hot liquids.
I'm glad there's one more of us.
There's
out
one
there.
more of you. Too funny. So what's one takeaway that you want our listeners to know about?
I would just say globally about small businesses. It can be frustrating as a consumer to go into a small business and see something for full price. But the notion that we always want to reinforce is that a much larger percentage of your purchase stays in the community and strengthens the community. And while you might get $3 to $5 off the item that you're purchasing at the website that shall not be named, that 100% of that, almost 100% of that money goes right out of our community. A lot of the multinational corporations end up finding ways to not even pay taxes at all. And so they don't even contribute on the federal level. So we're stronger together.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well
that's not to say that you should come into my business specifically. It's when you shop at a small business, you make us all stronger.
Well said. I love that.
Thank you.
That's a great way to end. Wonderful. So, but what's the street address?
Oh, so we are located at 12 Spruce Street in Acton, Mass.
And website?
Is silverunicornbooks.com.
All right. And what else? You're on social media?
We're on social media. So we're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky. Although we're most active on Instagram and Facebook. And it's Silver Unicorn Books across the board.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely.
This was great. And I need new books, so I'll be in.
Okay.
Thank you so much for tuning in today, and very special thanks to our friend AJ of Clear Signal Productions, our podcast producer. Have a wonderful day.